how are you today? I wanted to talk today about a very important subject when it comes to us over 50 women, and that is the subject of skincare. Skincare is so important really for everybody, but especially for those of us who are aging. We have aging skin, we're in menopause, our skin is changing, and we really need to be mindful of the skincare that we use every day. But that can get very confusing because the beauty industry doesn't really address women of our age very much. And there's a lot more questions out there than there are answers. So today I'm going to go over some of my very best tips and tricks and my basic skincare routine and some of the products that I use. I'm going to show you some middle priced category products versus some of the more affordable products. First step always is cleansing. You always want to make sure that in the beginning of the day and at the end of the day, you're cleansing your skin. Why? For obvious reasons. You don't want to clog your pores with dirt and all that and makeup, but your makeup will actually go on better with a very clean surface. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about cleansers. So one of the things to remember is most cleansers are created equal for the most part. Now, cleansers aren't targeted, so you're not going to find cleansers with hyaluronic acid or retinol in them. Cleansers are cleansers, so it's really a lot of it's just preferred. Personally, I prefer cleansers that don't have fragrance. It's just a personal thing with me. So I choose to pick, I choose a very mild cleanser that I feel gets a little bit foamy, and it's just something that's a little bit more appealing to me. Before, though, you even cleanse, it is super important to take your makeup off first. And I do that with this product right here, the Garnier Micellar Cleansing Water. There's a lot of makeup remover products out there. I've used them all. I've used Neutrogena wipes. I find those are very harsh on my skin. Also, they grade a little bit lower on the Yucca scale on my Yucca app, so I kind of steer away from that. I find it to be sometimes irritating to my skin, but the micellar water is super good. Plus, it's in a large bottle. It's very affordable. I just take a cotton swipe and then I take everything off and it comes off really nice. It's micellar water. There's also other uses for this, but for the purposes of this video, this is really good for taking your makeup off. Okay, so that's the first thing. Once you have your makeup off, you're going to get right to cleansing. Now, again, like I said before, you can use there's many different types of cleansers. The one that I use the most is one that's in my makeup and skincare line, and that's the Unique Glowplexion Cleanser. Again, it's just a very nice, mild cleanser. It's no fragrance. It doesn't leave behind any kind of a residue or anything like that. But if you want to buy one in the drugstore, I have found the Aveeno products to be very good for cleansing. And plus I can get a nice big bottle and they're really affordable. You can pick it up anywhere basically. Okay, so that's cleanser, super important. Next thing is exfoliation. Let's talk about exfoliation. Why is it important to exfoliate? It's very important because you want to make sure that your pores are free of grime or dirt or oil that gets clogged in them. And you want to make sure that you take all that grime out of your pores. You don't want to over exfoliate though, because that can really irritate your skin. You don't want to really go in there and scrub like you're sanding down a patio or something. You want to make sure that you're using a very mild exfoliant, and you want to use it maybe once a week, twice at the most. I have a tendency to get milia, which are these they look like little pinhead whiteheads that are little dots of oil that get in my pores, and then the skin grows over them, and then I have to have them removed. Usually when I get a facial, I'll get them removed. So that's why it's really important to exfoliate. As far as exfoliants go, the thing I would steer clear of is drugstore face scrubs, like the generic scrubs, like the apricot scrubs. I think those are very harsh. It's almost like taking like a Comet or like sandpaper to your skin. It's very rough. It's very aggravating for your skin. So I go more for a makeup line exfoliant, and you can get those very affordable. So I have one on my website that I use, a very nice one. You don't need a lot of exfoliant. Just you need rub it all on your skin for like 5 minutes and then you take it right off. But I also got this from Target, the facial radiance pads. These are really nice because they're just singular pads, just like this, very mild. I find them to be very easy to use. You just take one up and then you just exfoliate around your skin. And I'll use that maybe twice a week at the most. You don't want to overdo it, but you do want to make sure that you do it. Okay, so that's the second thing, is the exfoliation. The third thing is super important, especially for us ladies. We're getting into an age where we're losing water, and that has it's just a fact of life. We go through menopause, and it's funny because my skin used to be very oily when I was growing up, and even well into my childbearing years, when I was having kids, my skin would always break out and oily, and I used to hate that because I felt like there was nothing I could do about that. I would take all kinds of things to try to get rid of it. And it just was my body composition, and that's the way that my skin was. And then as I got into my 40s and now into my 50s and into menopause, I noticed a huge shift in the composition of my skin. I noticed that I switched from oily to now extremely dry. And that is something I've never had to worry about before ever in my life, but now I do have to. So hydration is the key. If you do not hydrate and you walk around and you're dehydrated all the time, your skin is going to look so much older than it is. You're going to look your skin is going to look like it's dragged down, and you definitely don't want that. I'm going to show you some of the things that I do to hydrate my skin. Again, I use the youthful night cream and day cream. And again, I really like the fragrance free. For some reason, I don't particularly like, and I don't know if you are the same way, but I don't particularly like when I put on skincare or even makeup and it has this fragrance, because then I'm smelling it the whole day. And even though it's like almost like perfume, and I don't mind that, sometimes it's overpowering. And if it's on my skin, chances are there's nothing I can do to take it off. So I like the youthful because it does not have any fragrance to it. It goes on very light. It goes on very simple, no residue. You don't feel like you have to wipe it off. You don't feel like it's overpowering, it's too thick and too heavy. And that's what I like the most about it. If you want to get a different kind of moisturizer, something at a drugstore, again, the Aveeno brands are super good. They also score pretty high up on the Yucca scale, so not a lot of harsh chemicals. And so I would steer towards those type of moisturizers. You want to make sure that your moisturizer is really complementing the problem areas of your skin. So maybe you aren't as dry as I am. Maybe you have combination skin. Maybe you have a tendency to break out. And if that's the case, then you need to get a moisturizer that is geared towards skin that is combination skin or skin that breaks out. If you have oily skin, you still need to moisturize, because what happens, the reason why oily skin breaks out more and more if we tend to dry it, because a lot of people tend, and I used to be this way, a lot of times if you have oily skin, a lot of times what we do is we'll scrub our skin and try to get it dry, right? We try to get it to a dry state. And what that does is it aggravates the pores and it dries the pores out. And then the pores produce even more oil, making your skin even more oily. So it kind of counteracts what you're trying to accomplish. What you want to do in that case is get a moisturizer that complements the oily skin, that is good for oily skin. And you can find that at any drugstore. If you need any further help, just let me know in comments and I'll be glad to give you more suggestions on that. But that is really super important, is to make sure you got a moisturizer that fits your skin type. A lot of times I get this question too: should I get a moisturizer with sunscreen in it, right? Or sunblock in it? And again, that's a preference that is up to you, right? I would test them out, see what they are, see how they feel on your skin, check the Yucca score again, because you don't want to put any really harsh chemicals on your skin. But what I personally like is if they're separated, because then I can control the amount that I put on my face. And I have a tendency to think or feel, and I've tried this out before, that moisturizers with sunscreen tend to be heavier and thicker, and I don't really like that heaviness on my face. Again, I like to control the amount of each one that I get, so I keep it separate. But that's a personal decision that you want to make. Okay, so that's one reason why hydration is really important. The next thing is serums and eye creams and very targeted types of products that you want to put on your face to solve particular types of problems. So I have here a really, really nice serum, and then I also use a really nice eye cream, right? So I'll use them hand in hand. Sometimes I'll use one or the other. It really just depends. But I use one of them at any time, like in the morning or night. I'll either use one or the other, sometimes a little bit of both. It really just depends on how my skin is feeling that day, how I'm feeling, and I just like both of them. Now, this is where you might want to find a product. And again, there's many different kinds. If you go to Ulta, on my website, I have the serum and the eye cream. But you can find them at any regular store, Sephora, Ulta. They even have an Ulta at Target. You can look there for those. I would always, this is where you might want to check the ingredient list, right? You might want to get something with a retinol or with a hyaluronic acid. Those ingredients are very good for aging skin, right? Those have good properties in them that hydrate your skin, but also repair any damage, and again, hydrate so that to reduce your fine lines and wrinkles. Those are very, very good properties in those products. Vitamin C, sometimes I see a lot more products now with vitamin C in them. Vitamin C is another very, very good property to have in your product. So look for those things: hyaluronic, retinol, vitamin C, anything like that is going to be very helpful for any situation that you have. I also get another question too, and that is on face masks. Okay, so we talked about exfoliating, but there's also other masks that you can do. Those are more luxurious luxury items. I'm getting ready to invest in a steamer, which is something I love. When I go get a facial, I love going under the steamer because I just like the way it feels, but I know that it's really cleansing my pores. You can also get those with these masks that you can get from the store. Okay, so I have a higher end mask. This is again the unique Uology. Um, it is the biocellulose mask, which is really nice. I like the masks because when you put them on, and I'm going to do a video about putting on the mask, it's really nice because you can kind of feel the um, they're not chemicals, but you can feel the ingredients in the mask just kind of soothing your skin, calming your skin down if you happen to have any flare-ups, or if you happen to have just if your skin is tired and you need to, bring out, if you wake it up or something. I kind of like to call it like that, waking up your skin. These masks are really good for that. There's other more affordable ones, like you can get these at Ulta. I think I got these at CVS. These are the single sheet masks. These are really nice too. And also the under eye patches mask. Those are really, really nice masks. In fact, I bought a box of eye masks, and I think there were like 50 in them. I don't even think I put one of them on. All my kids took all of the masks and used them all up. And those are good if you happen to have a lot of dryness under your eyes. The eye area is where we have the most sensitive skin, the thinnest skin. So if you want to sort of wake up those areas, you want to put on an eye mask, and that will really help. You can also find masks they're infused with coffee or some of those really good chemicals. Again, vitamin C, retinol, hyaluronic acid. Those are the go-to ingredients for those kinds of masks, and those are so super good for you. And again, you can feel them. They energize your skin. They sort of wake up your skin. You can also do tea bags. There are also a lot of masks, sheet masks and eye masks that have lemon in them. They have lime in them. They have vitamin C. Therethere's orange. A lot of citrus masks. There are tea masks, rose water masks. I mean, there's masks for pretty much everything. So you have that. That's where you can just go crazy. You can get a bunch of them and really have a good time with those masks. So that is my recommendation for that. Sometimes one last tip that I have, which is really I sort of stumbled upon this by accident. One night, I was going to do a mask, and I was really having a lot of dryness around my eyes this one day. And I decided to put some serum underneath my eyes, right? And just kind of pat it in. And then I put the mask right over it. So I had the ingredients from the mask and the serum. I mean, my skin the next day was so smooth. I can't even tell you. It was almost like I felt like my skin felt 20 years ago. And just from that mask and the serum combined together, I thought, wow, this is pretty genius. This is something nobody ever told me to do. I just sort of stumbled upon it. So I'm passing it on to you because that is a really good tip. If you ever want to sort of join those two things together, you might have a really good experience with both of those items, right, at the same time. So go ahead and take some of those tips, and get a few things. Try them, see how you like them. Some of the more affordable items you might want to start off with first, see if you like it, see if it agrees with your skin, see what the properties are, test them out. I usually go with, again, with the more affordable items like the micellar water or the Aveeno cleanser. See what you like, and see what they contain, so that then if you want to go to the more higher price ticket items, you can graduate up to there once you've sort of figured out what works with your skin. Because like I said, we're all different, all of our skin is different, and so we all react a little bit differently. So I hope those tips helped you. If you have any questions, just put them in comments. I'll be glad to answer them. Like and subscribe, and I'll be having a lot more skincare videos coming down, so make sure you check them out. Well, take care, everybody. Bye.